Mountain Dew League, MSI, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And I want to know if you've ever seen The Rain. Anybody get the reference? Anybody?
Yeah, it was the song.
Yeah.
CCR.
CCR. Good job, guys. You know who else is seeing The Rain right now is compLexity. And I kind of have to sympathize with the fact that they've just been put in a pretty rough spot altogether.
Is it rain or is it just tears falling down their face as they realize they've gone back to square one?
Cry Me a River.
Okay.
There we go.
Different eras, I assume, yes.
Yeah, they are.
Close nonetheless, and of course the feeling behind it is exactly that. This was a rough one for compLexity, and albeit something we absolutely expected. Because, well, you know, they're missing an in-game leader. I'm missing a pin. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's fine. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Talk to me about anything that could have possibly went right here for compLexity not going right.
You want to take this one?
Take it away, Howard.
I mean, that's a bit of a struggle. I guess,
didn't get 15-0'd.
They didn't get 15-0. They
Or
saved
16-0.
some pride. They do have something special in the working down there in Texas, according to Jason Lake. And I think that's what you have to grasp onto for all that's worth. I think, you know, for the next bout, Professor Chaos has played a game of CS, at least now we know.
Yeah.
So he might do better, because he had a bit of a rough one to start things off.
Listen, we all know if you don't play Counter-Strike for like a month, it takes you about 3-4 days to get back into playing shape.
Oh, yeah, well,
if you don't play for 2 months,
if you're us, it's about a half a year.
Yeah, for me, it takes a hot minute for me to feel confident enough to go into a pug. So I can only imagine what Professor Chaos was feeling as he loaded up into that server. But yeah, it's tough. I don't think you can take too much right away from that if you're compLexity. But like I said in the pregame, I think that's also these are going to be matches this week where you just kind of. You never want to do it in the competitive environment, and especially for compLexity that doesn't go to a lot of events. You don't have a whole lot else to like kind of hang your hat on, but you do kind of have to just say this roster change just went down like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Nothing like what do you expect from us?
I mean, yeah, they're not even left in a situation where they can actually try to scramble in standings.
That being said, you do feel like you could just luck into a round during the first half, right? Like
like maybe accidentally trip, fall, land on a round.
Like you buy 5 CZs and something happens.
True.
You don't really know how to explain it.
Just it's just one of those things, right?
Especially Mirage at A ramp. It's almost impossible.
I mean, if you 5-man rush B-apps 15 rounds in a row, surely. Like you talked about it, right? Like if you just the percentages here at some point should go in your favor.
Yeah. I mean, let's not focus on the negatives, boys. Let's talk about the positives. Can we switch over to Renegades? Do you mind?
You want to switch over to the Renegades? Because even though we know them to have some sort of structuring like we talked about, they have a base to go off of, they have an in-game leader, they have the things necessary to compete.
Yeah.
This wasn't really a matchup where we could say we can see glaring weaknesses and whatnot. But, a guy that's still shining here, a Norwegian fellow friend of yours. Take it away, Halvor.
I mean, Jacob, once again, just getting back into things. He was having a bit of a lull, I guess, after a very hot start in Renegades, but quickly got back into it. One thing I also really like to see is Ustillo, as we saw there. One of the things that he's really known for is playing super aggressive towards that A ramp, and it's kind of a do or die way of playing that map. Yeah. Sometimes he ends up with 30 frags, sometimes he ends up with 2. It's kind of something it seems like Renegades have just come to terms with, but this time was one of the better showings from him in that sense. So that bodes well going into the second map. But yeah, Renegades, obviously they can't take too much away from this win either. They know they're up against pretty much down and out compLexity, so they just have to take it for what it is, which is kind of like, I guess, aim practice.
They just have to be content with the fact that they get the job done, right? That they get the W they're supposed to have. They climb up the standings. They secure their position a little bit more, and they're going to be okay with that one. Ustillo is a funny player to me because I feel like Ustillo is similar to Apex from G2 in the sense that not necessarily in like play style, but he does have those games where when he goes off, like Renegades just wins. Like Apex is that one player where it's just like when Apex has a really really good game, G2 wins. You can't really beat them. And Ustillo seems to be that same way with Renegades. Like every once in a while, he has that game where he drops like 30-some kills. And they just win those games.
To me, like he's like, you still giveth and you still taketh away.
Take it away, Trace.
Take it away, I will. And check this out. Because they're not only lulling outside right now, not outside of here, of course, but outside of the server after that trouncing over compLexity, we actually got to sit down with them and see how they lull in real life. That's right, the Renegades. You lull, you lose. Jesus, bad.
What do you call the Nintendo Wii in France?
What?
A Nintendo Yes.
Nothing. What time should you go to the dentist?
I don't know. What time?
2:30. No, nothing? I thought that was pretty good.
Why did the golfer bring an extra pair of pants?
No idea.
In case he got a hole in one.
Oh, man. What do you call a singing computer?
What?
Adele. She's your favorite singer.
Why are wives like computer games?
Don't know.
When you're bored, you cheat.
That is terrible. That is terrible.
I actually found that one.
Oh, that's terrible. Alright. Have you heard about the new Minecraft movie?
No.
A ham sandwich walks into a bar, and he orders a drink. What does the bartender say? Sorry, we don't serve food here. It gets me every time. But in all reality, that was some lolling caught by the Renegades in real time, actually footage, vintage at that. I think I've seen that one before.
Might have. It does stick to your brain though. Like it's a memorable moment.
Memorable moment. Well, how about as memorable as us going into Inferno? Because God bless compLexity for needing all of the strength that they could possibly need to muster up going into this next map. Professor Chaos, sympathy for you, man. I've been there. I've done that. It's rough. Standing in.
You had the highest headshot percentage in all of Pro League at one
For
point.
2 seasons.
2 seasons?
Back to back. The two time.
The 2 time.
The 2 time. I mean, it's a little bit of a skewed statistic, but I'll take that one to the grave. I hope that someone writes that one on my tombstone one
3
day.
Nobody has to
kills,
dig
3
deeper, right?
headshots in an entire game, and there you are.
At least I'm
100%.
consistent, right?
Yep.
Almost as consistent as it's looking like the next result's going to be. We're going to Inferno.
Yes, I don't think there's anything you can say to kind of pump up compLexity in this, to where you'd call it upset coming.
You can't do worse, at least.
There is that.
You
Yeah.
can get 16.
Well, no, you can't have a worse T side.
No.
That is actually not possible.
Okay.
So as long as
Run
they
with
get,
that.
yeah, no, even if they go 0-15 once again, that's just going prepare, par for the course. So yeah, no, they have to do some things to look forward to, and I think again, you mentioned someone like Peter needs to have a good game if they want to have a shot at, well, at this point, I guess not winning the game, but getting rounds. And he had a bit of a lackluster performance in that first one as well. I don't think that's going to be the case over two maps in a row.
Yeah, motivation has got to be an all-time low at the moment for the
Camaraderie,
compLexity side of things.
though.
Yeah, camaraderie is all dead. Yeah. Where do you take it from here? This is gonna have to be like they're just actually. I don't know. Where do you take it from here? Grinning. I have no idea what to say about compLexity right now.
How about
they need to buckle in for a rough ride, Trace?
Yes, buckle in. And what is Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1. Not bad, right? That was pretty good. Sorry, the dad joke thing really gets me going every time. And I don't want to say that this matchup kind of has a sort of laughing appeal to it, but it kind of does in a way.
It's one of those things where if you don't laugh, you cry, type situations. Yeah, they're going to be in for a rough ride. Again, this is just going to be the stat pad for Renegades to stay up on the standings.
Yeah, no, it's a nice go for Renegades, at least building back whatever confidence they might have lost. Then again, shouldn't really have had any loss. They did qualify for Marseille, which is a pretty big get for them. Also going to Sydney as well. So a lot of things are looking out for them. So this is just like additional boost for a team that's already in the wind.
Well, let's shift the focus a little bit. Let's lighten up the mood here.
And it's not light enough with your bartender joke?
That one was pretty bad. But ultimately, it was probably better than the Forrest Gump one. I'm going to have to ask you guys, and you at home, what do you think about when you're alone? Use hashtag ESL Pro League to get involved in our conversation, because I'm asking you guys right now.
This is a very dangerous conversation.
It isn't, but it's all about how you play the ball.
What do I think about when I'm alone? Usually home.
Okay.
That just makes it darker.
I know.
I was like, oh yeah, like future ambitions, like how positive things in my
I've
my
achieved
outlook.
my dreams, Vendette. I'm peaking right now. With this.
Peaking.
Yeah, this is what
It's a
peak
big discourse
dream
of Trace,
clutching.
yeah.
Esports. Yeah. I just, you know,
We're gonna hold you to it, man.
I have an Airbnb with Trace, right? And
That sounds terrible
for this
right
season.
from the get-go.
No, it's phenomenal. It's all been great, except for one room is like, you know, when you do the Airbnb and they always tell you there's like 2 bedrooms and 2 beds. Well, one's actually like a living room and it's only like a couch with like 3 cushions on it.
yeah.
I have that little like half bed that's about this size, so I've been sleeping on my side the whole time, facing the window. He's got the master bedroom.
Where the
Did you
masters
guys do
would
like
sleep.
a
That's how it
straw
works.
drawing of that, or was that just?
No, so the plan was to switch after this 1 week break that we had.
Yeah,
However,
so what happened to that?
I got an email this morning that said that the Airbnb people that rented to us had to come back early.
Oh,
So we're getting
nice.
kicked out on Friday. So
It worked out great for me.
so he got his turn in the master bedroom, and now I'm just like, I'm shivering, and I'm like, all right, fine. You know what?
Yeah.
All right, fine. And,
Stuffing you up though.
What do you think about when you're alone?
Oh God. Very little.
You don't sleep either, so you
No,
got
I
a
don't.
lot of
I have
downtime.
a lot of downtime to actually think about life and whatnot. Predominantly, you know, when I'm going to see the sun, and what actions I can do to actually make that happen. But then I figure out, you know, I live in Norway, so that's not going to happen anyway unless I get on vacation. But that doesn't happen either.
Typical vampire thing.
Yeah,
no, it's-
typical.
yeah.
Stay inside where there's no sunlight.
Avoid the
Make
garlic.
sure
Avoid
I get
garlic,
as
avoid
pale as possible.
Silver daggers.
Yeah, avoid anything sharp. Now, with that said, guys, do you change your predictions here? We're about ready to jump in the game.
I think we're all both on the complexity hype train, aren't we?
Yeah,
All right, sounds good.
I like that.
Well, let's go ahead and kick it back over to the 2 that have been on their, dare I say, first play date. And now my question for you as we pass it over here. What are you most thankful for in life, Pimp?
What are you going to grill Pimp for his first meal of this relationship?
Probably, he seems like a steak man. You know, probably a steak. Is that wrong?
I would have said sausage.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
there we go. What would you like?
Toast.
Toast.
All right, well, you guys are weirdos, and I think that just about does it for us here. Take it away, Pimp.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this one away, Harry. So
Okay.
you just follow my lead and
Really
then we'll,
alphaing it straight off the
yeah,
bat, you
we'll
know.
get this game out of the way. Having Inferno now, Renegades complexity. It can only get better for complexity. I mean, it was a pretty poor showing in the first map. So we'll see if they're ready to play this time around. Professor Chaos about to cause some chaos, Harry.
Yeah, no, I like that. I can get behind it. Hopefully he does cause some chaos, because in the first game he was whatever the opposite. Trace, help me. What's the opposite of chaos?
Sticking a spoon in your mouth? I don't get it. Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah, that was
Game
good.
is live.
Trace, big help. So here we go. Yeah, game is live. You're bang on there, Pimp. And Renegades, well, they've gone in and started to push up old mid, but look at this. Complexity, they're already all the way down. Banana, no one's keeping an eye on it, and Def will emerge victorious in that first fight. Now Professor Chaos just can't run him by. And as it does fall, Android trying to hold off from the pit. He's usually so good in this position, but this time he does falter. He's going to go down, and Jacob's holding the close mid. 3 players coming his way. And he just goes ahead and gets the hell out of there. 3-on-3 in the retake with Ustilo now peeking out from the pit. And this round starts to look a bit dicey, but there's Professor Chaos able to find one. Suddenly it's a 2-on-2, but this flank from JKS is just masterful. He lines them up, knocks both players down at the end, and Renegades, well, find the pistol.
And there we go. Just like Mirage started, so does Inferno. Renegades picking up the first pistol round in a round where it could have gone differently. You know, a 3 versus 2 in the end right there. JKS, as you said, coming in with a great flank, lining them up and keeping his cool in both kills right there. Great to see him staying cool and just aiming them out. You know, some players in that scenario gets a little bit shaky and feels they have to rush the kills. JKS calm as ever before and just picking down 2 frags. Jacob following up, and all of a sudden Renegades off to another great start on this map. Again, not what complexity wanted. Now, we talked a little bit about it. Daniel is talking a little bit about it. Inferno, definitely a better map for complexity going into this one, with especially with a stand-in. But it's not like you think that they really stand a chance of winning it.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with FNS, you know, I think this would be a challenge, right? Renegades have looked so good as of late. But as you said, complexity definitely more well-versed on this map. I think actually every single time we see complexity play, one of the maps that's come up has been Inferno. And already, kind of, even with how they played that pistol round, it was a very FNS take on the pistol round. You can see how he's influenced the team. You know, going with that aggression down Banana, that was always what we saw, that or the rush down mid in the pistol round. Those were the 2 things that FNS had this squad do. And I think they kind of have that benefit, right, of playing this map so much. They're going to be very well regimented in how to approach it, at least. But Renegades winning the pistol and then converting that second is always going to, you know, kind of be a bit tricky. as they get off to a good start here on the T side. And compLexity kind of want to deny them as much money and momentum as they can.
Yeah, and it didn't really pan out successful for them in the beginning here. And you know, a little bit less sketchy for Renegades this time around in the NT group compared to Mirage. Great to see them picking out on that. JKS seems to be definitely hitting his shots right now. Seems like he's just a headshot machine. That's great. Great for them. JKM as well, turning up. If you look at this Renegades lineup and if you take player by player, you know, I think there's no doubt that the pound for pound, player for player, Renegades is a better squad. They have some heavy hitters, especially JKM. We touched upon him on Mirage, you know, a guy who used to play for FaZe, have been in a major semi-final, I believe, and actually performed very well there as well. Whereas the guys from compLexity are sort of like, you know, they're here because they couldn't perform in UK. There's no scene for them over there, so they took the chance to go to NA and actually makes, you know, a lot out of it, you know. Living and breathing Counter-Strike over here in Los Angeles or wherever they stay, NA at least. And that's, you know, great to see that European players and European champs, you know, have a chance of going to NA and actually try to make it. And I feel if you look towards compLexity, it's a team that's been for a while now. You keep saying the same thing about them. There's potential, you know. They could potentially be great this season. They could potentially take away this win. They could potentially qualify for this tournament. But it's always, you know, almost getting there to a point where it's starting to get annoying because they never really do it. They always show glimpses of potential, but it never really follow through with a win or with a big breakthrough of any sense. So in that sense, we need to see something from these guys soon. Yaster, Def, Professor Chaos, obviously the new guy, we can't really judge him, but Android and PTR as well. These are guys that have some sort of reputation, especially when playing Renegades and FPL over there, for being great individuals. So, you know, they gotta figure out a way to make that work on a team, and that is what we haven't seen from compLexity yet. FNS was, you know, only for loan apparently, and that's gonna be a big hit for them. Looking forward to see what they're gonna bring in. You know, Slemmy, the guy they got rid of, you know, is probably not coming back, and who else is there in NA to take charge of this team?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. Now, before we can really dive into that too much, this taken towards B is already coming through. Nifty's already up past any line of defense, but suddenly Def and Professor Chaos, they've roared to life. They've started to hold back this push. Suddenly, Jacob's the only man left on Banana. JKS now going to join up with him, and these two are kind of the heavy hitters for Renegades. And now they have to try and claw this round back tooth and nail as compLexity have a two-man advantage. Yeah, he's peeking out towards the bottom of mid, and that's a nice play for the information. He spots them falling back. Doesn't want to tempt fate, though. Doesn't want to give anything else away, so now retreats. And 50 seconds left. Renegades are, you know, hoping, praying that someone from compLexity gets a bit over-ambitious and extends out.
The only thing they got going for them right now is the utility. They both have a Molotov, a Flash, and a Smoke, so they can't do something on this B bomb side. On the other hand, compLexity are playing it picture perfect. They want to split up, be two on each bomb side, make sure that the bomb is not going down, at least without some trade fragging. So great to see that compLexity are playing it in the right way. They don't have a guy hanging somewhere in the middle or anything like that. They're playing it 2-2, and that's how they should be doing it. PTR getting the first frag on JKM, and I would be surprised if he doesn't get the second one here together with, I think it's Ye staying on the side, not sure though. Getting Molotov out by JKS, and there we go, PTR bringing it down. And, you know, first time we see compLexity chiming in early in the matchup, you know, not going down 14-0 or 15-0, actually getting around on board from the beginning. And especially on a map like Inferno, where economy is such a vital thing, you know, where utility is probably the most prominent thing to talk about. You want to make sure that you have every single nade at your disposal every single round. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to hold off the T's during the entire game. As you can see on the left side on your screen right now, they have pretty much all utility they can afford, and that's a great start. You know, just already by looking at the utility, you can now say that compLexity have a very good chance of getting into this game with a great start.
That's definitely true, and you know, PTR is kind of getting into this game a lot more.
I think he quadrupled his frags already now from last game. Or at least tripled it. Says something.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I mean, he's feeling good. And he's someone who usually has a very, very good performance of compLexity on this map. Him and Android, I would say, would be my standout too, at least here. Android and his ability to defend pit is usually fantastic. You know, he's so accustomed to playing this position. Of course, he plays that with Ye. And these two have very, very good synergy on this portion of the map. So I do think this is where Renegades are going to struggle a bit more. PTR able to get himself a second before Azza trades. Now they've ducked down into CT. Well, Professor Chaos does lie in wait. Doesn't want to give up the M4, but he will go down. And now suddenly Renegades, they're in a spot where they could find success here. Android's rotating in from behind, as is Def. Yay, rather, actually. It's Def over on Banana. Try and put a stop to this. 35 seconds time to get that bomb down. Def peeks out, but that's a shot from Jacob. That is just a absolute monstrous shot from Jacob. Now it's a 2-on-2. And compLexity, they've started to flank players around into ruins. Azza and Jacob take the aggression down Banana.
Both stacked up towards Banana now. Jacob has one flash, so does ACR. And they want to use those flashes to get those peaks in when they clinch the bomb. Now smoke goes down. Android is fake defusing it. They don't know that the first flash is coming in now. And Jacob starts to spray through the smokes. Getting the first frag. They don't know he's defusing now. They do know that he is defusing. Jacob picking up a third frag in this round. And all of a sudden, we talked about compLexity having a very good chance of making something out of this. You know, getting off to a good start. And getting off to a good start here as well. PTR bringing in 2 frags, making it a 5 versus 3 at one point. You could just see Professor Chaos not really feeling this game. You could see that's a player put out of his place. He was caught off guard in CT spawn. All of a sudden, Jacob chips in with 3 frags, and compLexity are now going down 4-1. That looked very promising for them. They could have gone up 3-2. Instead, they're down 4-1, now forced to have another eco, and it could easily be a 5-1 for Renegades. And already now, you know, you want to say after you saw what you saw in Mirage, you know, that's not the start they wanted. This is pretty much a disaster for compLexity.
Yeah, there's no denying that fact. Okay. They've been able to put it back into a 4-on-4. Very messy couple of trades over in apartments. And that nade could actually send an AK flying their way. 2 players here in CT. There is a man boosted up. And that's Def. He hasn't actually gone ahead and done anything just yet, so they don't know that he's here. Finds one with the CZ, but then there's the trade. And 3-on-3. There is an AK over in apartments as well. I think that's what Ye is actually currently looking for. The nade really has thrown him off. It's PTR to find it. He fell out the balcony. But yeah, bomb plant going to go down. Renegades should find a 5th here. There should be no way for compLexity back into this round.
No way for compLexity back into this round. I definitely do agree with that sentiment. Ye has 1 smoke to work with, a CC. PTR has an AK, and they need to find a peak now. Otherwise, it's going to be a save. And I think they already opted towards the saving this play right now. There's a guy, you know, and I think that would be Professor Chaos with a USP inside ruins. He just see if he can pick up a gun, get an exit frag, and doesn't seem like they want to give it to him. JKS flashing inside the ruins, just falling away. Nifty finding PTR, bringing down that AK. Now it's only Yace who has an AK left, and it again around, you know, where compLexity, they get some work done, but it doesn't really result in anything. You know, losing 2 guys is not a problem for Renegades. The economy is still being built up. The scoreboard is going up. It's still 5-1 for them. They're adding another round to the board, and having Ye saving an AK and a small armor doesn't really hurt them at all. You can see in the money right now from the compLexity side, they're decent. He can drop an AK and he can buy another gun. That's what they're going to do. But it's going to be another round where they have a decent buy, you know, where some of them have full utility, some of them they don't. And that's the problem on Inferno. I highlighted it before. You want to make sure that everyone has every single nade at their disposal. And you can see right now, I believe a total of... Yeah, it's only a total of, that would be 6 nades is missing right now. But that's 6 nades that you can use, you know, and can be very vital, especially if you want to play this slow-paced game style that Renegades opt to play right now. You basically need the utility to hold off the terrorist as long as you can until the hits. And if you don't have that, you got to be ready for the duels and you got to win them. And right now, compLexity are not in a position with Professor Chaos in the lineup and overall just being, you know, worse players in that one-on-one duel scenario to win those duels. So without utility, you're going to have a tough time.
And they learned that the hard way over here on Banana. Nifty picking up 2 big kills. PTR's there. And he's kind of the man you'd want. Yeah, he's going to answer back over in apartments in the meantime. So a nice recovery here from compLexity. I think that's something we could both agree on. And Android's going to try and extend that even more. Decides to not go through that smoke. And actually, maybe that was the right call to make, as it now forces Jacob to make the play. But somehow he's won that fight. 2-on-2, and PTR over here in CT holding his speedway. Timing's everything. Jacob peeks into it, and that is a fantastic shot to land. A second as they've locked down this B-bomb. Say, yay, on 19 HP. It's kind of devastating, but really he has to save here, right? He's so far away. He doesn't have a kit. He's going to go looking for that AWP, you imagine, on speedway, but that should be it for him. I mean, he's got the kit now, but yeah, the rotation would have taken too long. It's not really worth him taking that risk. Renegades onto a 6th, and it's another situation where compLexity, they come so damn close. But it just eludes them there at the end.
And you say that, you know, it's close, but it's never really there to a point where it gets really exciting. It's sort of like, it's almost to a point where they just miss that one extra kill, you know, just one guy stepping up, getting the second kill, or getting the extra refrag or something like that in order to turn around the pace of the game into their favor. For now, it's just Renegades to be in full control. It's going to be 6-1. Now, Yeaster are able to save an AVP. The money is still going to be in shambles for complexity, which means they would need another anti-eco going into round 8 and another potential round for Renegades would make it 7-1. And if you have to talk a little bit about scorelines, what you can expect on a map like Inferno, it is currently up in there for being one of the maps that can go both ways. You can have a very strong T side and get a lot of rounds on the T side and actually be happy with that. But you can also have a very strong CT side, especially if you get up to a good start and have all your utility from the beginning of the match. That said, Yace has been eating a little bit too much Big Mac right there. Can't get through the door. That sucks. It's going to ruin his first pick chances of going into middle. And there you go. He goes down. That's PTR with the op. In that sense, that sucks as well. What I was trying to say is the fact that Renegades already now being on 7 rounds in a second is going to be enough for them to feel comfortable going into the second half. You know, they're going to grab a few more rounds, and having a T-side where you already have now 6, 7, maybe even 8, 9, 10 rounds is going to be more than enough for them to feel comfortable against a not so strong complexity.
Yeah, I mean, this T-side is one where Renegades can now just like very much set the pace, right? You said they've been in full control this whole time. And you imagine the lead is going to get even wider. And the scary thing is it's like, you know, complexity, normally they play kind of above and beyond better on this CT side anyway. So the fact that they're struggling so much now is a bit disastrous for them. Renegades currently 7-1 up, obviously. And money is, you know, not even part of the question really right now for Renegades. There's only Ustilo who's a little bit limited. Everyone else is on, you know, 5 grand plus. And buyers coming in here for complexity, and the economic woes are going to be, you know, just a reoccurring nightmare really for complexity. Being on that CT side, everything being so much more costly to buy, they're kind of in a scenario where they buy and they lose a round, and they save, and they buy, then they lose, and you know, each buy kind of getting progressively worse as well. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. They have to try and win a couple here.
Doesn't really help when PTR is missing those shots, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of unorthodox for him. Or wouldn't even say it's sort of like normal these days around. He used to be one of those players I rated very highly, especially when I was playing in Liquid. He played for NRG back then, together with Tapson and got B when they had those Germans on the team, and he was one of the star players on that team. And one of the guys that you initially thought, you know, if he keeps up this pace and if he keeps getting better from this form he's in right now, he could be one of the guys maybe joining, you know, Liquid, my own team, or maybe even joining Cloud9 in the future. But the way he's been playing as of recently has not been too great. That said, though, he gets a first pick on Nifty right here, missing another one. And it's just, you know, for an AVP player like PTR, you want to hit those shots, and you want to, you know, already now it should have been a 5 versus 3, and that would mean full control for complexity. But they're missing out of these key moments, you know, missing the key shots and missing the key duels. And if you keep doing that over and over again at this level, it is ESL Pro League. You are getting paid to play Counter-Strike a lot. In fact, you know, and you are getting paid to play a lot of Counter-Strike is what I'm trying to say. So you gotta hit those shots, and you gotta be able to do that. Now PTR going down to ACR on that deep bomb side, it should have been a situation where he at least got 2 kills. Whereas all of a sudden now the full pressure is on complexity. Android is not aware that Ustilo is hiding behind this little wagon. This could be very dangerous for him. He's pushing up forward, and I think Ustilo is catching that off guard. He knows that the second guy is in pit, and if he can get that kill, that would be vital. And he does. Yeaster going down now. Def killing the bomb. There's only 16 seconds left. ACR does not know where the bomb is, and he has 13 seconds left now to get the bomb. Professor Chaos is on 1 versus 2. He just has to stay alive, and he goes down to ACR. That was so close once again. Another round, you know, where complexity had every single chance they needed to win the round, but not able to convert it into a round win. Now going into another Antico. Harry is not good.
No, it's not. It's not. You hit the nail on the head there. It is a pretty grim picture being painted here. You know, I kind of agree with everything you said, Pimp. It's a pretty bad spot for complexity, or if you're a complexity fan. But they've gone for a partial buy here. That's kind of the one benefit, at least. It's just now they've stacked 4 players over towards the top of mid. You know, they're mixing things up, which is good. And this is actually a change that can definitely work out. Jacob and Nifty able to claw things back. Do they keep forcing the issue here? I mean, Ye's up in a part. They're not ready. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, no, not like that.
God.
Oh, that's made me like visibly cringe at how that went down. But it's all good. Death falls and Professor Chaos 1v3. Nifty survives on 1 HP. He is the slipperiest man alive.
I mean, if people could see me right now, it would be a great sight. That is unlucky, not good enough. And once again, a showcase of complexity, you know, missing the very last HP right there on Nifty. You know, that is the difference between winning the round and losing the round right there. We saw it highlighted. A very good example to pull out. You know, they're just missing that last bit, you know. in pretty much every aspect of the game, both team play-wise, individual game-wise, duel-wise, they're just losing the majority of all the important duels. And if you keep doing that over and over again, you're going to get shut down. 9-1 seems very dominant, but when you look at the way the game has unfolded, it's been a lot of rounds where complexity, with a little bit more finesse, with a little bit more skill, and playing just a tiny bit better, they could have won some rounds that they shouldn't have been losing right here.
Yeah, you kind of think about how different a direction that round could have taken had Ye found that. And it's a very uncharacteristic situation for him to whiff like that much, right? Like a very awkward situation to be in. But I mean, had he found Nifty there, he would have had Norp to work with. Android might not have died over in mid because the pressure wouldn't have been on out from apartments. So, it could have been a very, very different round. And once again, it almost feels like for complexity, their success is just on like on a knife's edge in that sense. It's like the tiniest of changes could make all the difference. But Def, he's already lost the opening duel this time around. The AWP's been dropped. And he's on a tear, keeps making his way in, finds the second line of Professor Chaos, and JKS in the back line will be found at least. But already, complexity in a situation where, you really consider saving at this point.
Yeah, you sort of have to now. Getting a kill on ACR gives them a leap of faith, and I think they're going to go for this one now. They kind of have to. They're down 9-1. You cannot not go for it anymore when you're down that much. Jay came in a good position to shut this one down, though. Getting a flash on him, missing the shot. That gives them a leap of opportunity now. Getting down a Molotov right here is decent. They're going down with the nade. They have a smoke to put it out. Nifty down to 20 HP. He's being put in a very tough position. It seems like complexity actually may be able to convert this round into a win. Now let's see how Nifty gets out of this one. And it seems like they're going for the save. Yeah, time is running out. They don't have a kit. They actually do have an Android. It just took them way too long. I don't know why they didn't run up the banana after they pulled out the Molotov. That would have been more than doable. But for some reason, communication is falling apart. Complexity saving 3 guns, though. 2 AVPs and an M4 makes them able to buy and have a decent buy in this time around. But it doesn't really matter. At this point, it's 10-1. We're getting to a point where I feel the neck is being broken on the bird, and you just gotta make something miraculous out of this one to get back in the game. PTR is a guy you want to look for. We talked about it. He has 9 frags, top fragging right now, but he's missed a lot of bullets as well. It's not like he had the impact he could have had. And it goes to the story as well when you look towards stats and scoreboards. Sometimes you got to be cool to people that, there we go, PTR. That's great. But they could have an even bigger impact. So why not expect that from them? And it's just not pretty, Harry. No, it's just not pretty.
No, it's not.
It kind of crings my heart.
That was nice of you. Still, I do kind of love whenever he plays versus teams, when their momentum's up. I think he's the most dangerous player. But he needs to have that the momentum behind him, because when he gets confident, he does do some absolutely unreal stuff. It's normally the games where things are a bit closer that his inconsistencies start to show. But he just loves kind of wrecking opponents. Just the complete and utter disrespect plays. Ustillo is all about that life. I'm a big fan of the boys. But yeah, they're over into apartments. The bombs actually started to head up towards Banana, so it looks like it's all just going to be an elaborate ruse to get this bomb down. And even going for this play right kind of shows how confident they're feeling.
Definitely. Leaving the bomb alone on the B bomb side, that is very interesting. Nifty making a lot of noise down here, and he's going to rotate back towards this A bomb side. It's going to be up to PTR to defend. He's getting the first point on Steelo. Now let's see if he can get Nifty down as well. He can. There we go. PTR with the impact that we highlighted him. He needed to have that impact in order to give complexity a chance. And finally, we see it coming into place. He has to find Nifty as well. He cannot find the first shot. Nifty is, as I said, we talked about on Mirage. He's very tough to play against because he just jumps around all over the place. It doesn't really make sense whenever he does it, but he does it now. Getting a frag on Professor Chaos. That was totally unnecessary to peek right there. PTR shutting him down though. Second round for complexity. A leap of faith, maybe. Money-wise, Renegades still in a good position. 10 rounds already in a good position. On the other hand, complexity, they could be broken again on the money parameter right here, were they to lose this round. So, again, they're putting themselves in a position. Even though they win this round, it's still going to be 10-3. That's not going to be great. If they lose this one, it's going to be even an even bigger disaster. So, no matter what happens for the rest of this half, it's all about damage control right now for complexity. They give themselves a decent chance if they pick up the last 3 rounds. But if they don't, I would always now now be able to call it to Renegades. They're just too strong right now, it feels like. Renegades is playing some of the best Counter-Strike they've been doing in a long, long time, whereas complexity, nothing is really going for them. They're losing their vital key member in FNS, so what can you really expect from them?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of one of the things with Renegades is, in my opinion, out of all the teams playing online in the Pro League, I think they're probably the best in that regard, right? Because out of all like the top teams in the league, they're the ones that still have to compete online to qualify for a lot of the events. And you know, you always see them getting through the qualifiers in like a very dominant fashion. So they're feeling quite comfortable. 3 players here for compLexity over in the top of mid. Now we've seen Renegades challenge for this apartment control time and time again. They get it this time for free. No one from compLexity there to challenge. Now Renegades just biding their time early on. You're still looking like he wants to try peeking into this. Who wins the fight on this angle? PTR going to fade away after missing that shot. So Renegades, they've taken control of the top of mid. They force compLexity off the angles. Now they start to retreat down back towards the base of Banana.
It's got to be some sort of A hit now. JK is putting a lot of noise to this mid area, making them to believe that they're still around this area. Another smoke goes down, which means it's going to be a very late hit from the Renegades guys. They have to go through the smoke or hit very late. They're setting up 4 guys right now. They only have a smoke and 2 Molotovs back. They don't really have any utility, and here we go through the smoke. No flashes. Nifty jumping in with an AVP, and that's what he does. That's what he can do. Professor Chaos being boosted up, getting the first frag, falling back. Well played by him. Def getting another one. Professor Chaos getting the 3rd one, and all of a sudden we see compLexity biting from them. Now Professor Chaos has to deny this bomb plant, and he's going to do that, getting the 1st and the 4th of the round from Professor Chaos. Finally seeing the stand-in, you know, being brought into work. It was coming to my attention that he's actually not the coach, but he's the analysis guy, or analyst for this team. So he's not even the coach. He's just the guy doing the analysis jobs. So technically a rivalry of mine, all of a sudden on the server, picking up 4 frags and giving another round to compLexity. You know, hats off, Professor Chaos. Hats off.
Yeah, I mean, he's competing with you in the analyst field, and now he's looking to try and compete with you in the pro player field as well.
I mean, he can have this one, because he's going to lose in a 1-1 versus me. That's for sure.
Oh, fighting talk there. But yeah, compLexity, they managed to get themselves the 3rd round. It's a nice recovery. Now, this time, Professor Chaos, the man in the spotlight. He's already been tagged down to 50 HP. So, not ideal. But,
not ideal.
he's going to be, where even is he? So down towards top of Banana. Oh, here's Ustillo, charging on out from balcony. There's JKS there to reinforce behind. There's a man down in the pit as well. And in the blink of an eye, Jacob has mopped up this A bomb site. 2-on-2. Nifty could very easily get caught off guard here. Def sneaks on him, but he doesn't check it. Oh, timing's everything, and Nifty goes down. Now it's Jacob, the resident Norwegian. Have to try and win this out in the 1v2. He was kind of the star boy that never quite lived up to the hype. Finds the first onto the man in balcony, but Professor Chaos once again even runs through the Molotov. Is there any stopping this analyst? No, there is not. He locks in a 4th round for compLexity. And he has he's started to get to grips with these Renegade boys in the last few rounds.
I mean, that's fairly impressive. He's now the sole reason for compLexity have been winning 2 rounds in a row. I feel that's a very great 1-on-1 where they're completely just annihilating JKM in a position where I felt JKM should have won it, but he didn't really stand a chance. Professor Chaos just jumping in, giving no Fs and just putting down JKM to bed. And again, you know, 4 rounds is it's manageable. We've seen compLexity come back from far worse than this, especially on this map before. So let's see if he can hold his own now here. ACR coming in, getting the first kill on Professor Chaos. Def getting the refrag, and a position where both teams are trading back and forth. Health-wise, sort of the same. And 4 versus 4, you know, it does favor the T side, and now deciding to go in for this bomb side straight away. Def getting the first frag. Another revenge frag right here coming in. Nifty bringing down the bomb, and we can see again, you know, it's all like back and forth, but it always feels like every time it's back and forth, it ends up being Renegades winning the round. That's been the big problem for them throughout the entire game. compLexity haven't been able to convert these into win rounds. Now PTR coming in with the impactful AVP shots that we talked about that he had to do. Yeaster also getting the frag on Nifty, and all of a sudden there's only JKS left, and he goes down to Android, and we get the 5th round on the board for compLexity, which means that they do stand a decent chance of maybe making a comeback here. A pistol round on the T side, and we could all of a sudden have a game on our hands for the first time in this matchup.
Yeah, and you know, you sound reinvigorated by that, Pimp. You know, it sounded like you were getting a bit low for a while as to how this looked like it was going to pan out. It looked like, you know, it could have been another 16-3 for Renegades, but compLexity, they showed up to the party, albeit a little bit late. They managed to find 5 rounds there at the end of this first half. 10-5, that's the one, as we head into the second half. And compLexity want to try and make this that much closer now. Professor Chaos, the stand-in, normally the analyst for the team, he actually locked in, what, 2 of these 5 rounds that compLexity currently have. So he's started to find his footing a bit here. Which,
it's easy to see him when he plays. There was a few rounds that showcased it very well. There was the Antigua round in the beginning of the match where he was in CT spawn. He was just caught in no man's land basically, and you can see that's typical for a player who's not really feeling the game to the same degree as some of the other pro players. He's a guy, as we said, he does the analysis work for compLexity, so he may play pucks and may play free fall stuff, but when you're not playing actively on a team, you lose that sort of like feeling for how to position yourself. And it's sort of like being a football player where you lose the touch on the ball if you haven't been training or practicing for a while. So it's easy to see on the server, but it's great to see that he still has some sort of impact, and he's not the sole reason for compLexity not doing well. That's a team effort right now, and we'll see how they're gonna far away in this pistol round. Seems like they're taking mid control. Android is rushing out of the apps, trying to find the first frag in pit. And it's just going to be straight brute force into this A bomb site. And they're going to get the 2 first frags now. Only ACR alive. JKM goes down as well. ACR still alive in the pit area. Getting to reload right here. Still fairly dangerous for them. It's a 4 versus 2, and they're going to swap around now. And he should go down. Getting 1 frag with him is not enough. It's only JKS left. And it seems like we got what we wished for. compLexity all of a sudden stumbling into this game. They are going to be about to put 6 rounds on the board unless JKS can do something completely ridiculous right here. He is a man known for being good at Counter-Strike. Gotta admit it, he's a decent player. One of the guys that, Liquid once tried to approach him. And there you go, a little bit of insight for that one, because he was actually a good player in that sense. He's one of the guys that a lot of American teams approached before. Some reason he managed to stay at Renegades, whether that's buyout clauses or whether it's him wanting to stay, I actually don't know. But it's one of the guys that you would at some point in the future also expect to be on a, wouldn't necessarily say better team than Renegades because they're involved into something great, but he's a guy that has potential to play on a team like Liquid, Cloud9, and the likes of those guys, maybe even Uptick in an alternative world. So great to see him coming in and finally receiving some success with Renegades as well. Now focus should be on compLexity, 6 rounds on the board. Finally a chance to actually get into the game, Harry.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone saw this coming. Alice painted a pretty... actually, I think they both sided with compLexity in the end, but it felt like that was a meme. And still going to get tagged. So they've taken control of the top of the mid. They forced the rotations out from Renegades away from B. There's only JKM here. And compLexity, well, they want to try and make this close. They want to try and find a second map here on what has kind of become their home map, Inferno. They don't want to let the Aussies take that away from them. So they start to double back into middle. And this always makes me a little bit nervous. Whenever teams slow down too much in these anti-ecos, I feel like sometimes they end up playing themselves. Now, luckily enough here, Renegades have actually gone for the gamble. They've rotated into B. And that's a nice shot from Ye. That's the A bomb site opened. And so on the back of that kind of chance rotation out from Renegades, compLexity will be able to find a 7th round here. And you imagine if you're Renegades, you're just going to hold on to these CZs, the armor that you've got, and just take them into the next round, try and find some success with them there.
That would be the smart move, Harry. Though, is that what you would do in a matchmaking game?
Well, in a matchmaking game, no. You just clutch 24/7. That's how you play, right?
That's why you suck, Harry.
Okay, that's pretty brutal. But I mean, to be fair, if anyone was going to insult me, I'm glad it's you.
Fair enough. As you said, trying to save the CC is the right play right here. Maybe being able to get a frag, get some extra money. Doesn't really matter for compLexity. Losing that guy with a Mac 10, he served his purpose already. And it's going to be another round on the board for compLexity, making it 10-7. And we talked about it. Inferno is one of those maps that is very momentum required, especially in terms of utility. So whoever gets off to a good start, whoever has the money to keep rebuying that utility and keep playing the way they want to play, do your own game instead of playing into your opponent's game, then you're often going to have a great side if you get that momentum going for you. So it's by no means over yet, and Renegades should be, for the first time in this game, have a little bit of sweat on their heads. This is a very important game for them to win as well. 2-0 in compLexity would be good in the standings for them in order to clinch one of the top 6 spots in the NA Pro League. So a lot at stake right now for both teams. compLexity trying to avoid relegation, trying to avoid, going down there and have to play that stuff. You don't want to do that. They're a better team than that initially. Whereas Renegades are fighting hard for a top 6 spot. So both teams have a lot to play for, and this map could be vital in the end of the season. So I expect to see everything and everyone coming out hot and firing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're approaching the end of the season, so every game is so vitally important now, and yeah, especially for a team like Renegades who are trying to secure that spot in the playoffs. And I mean, even for compLexity, right? Because now they are, like a man down in that regard. Oh, that is a monstrous nade. Who threw that? Who has got the arm of a god that chucked that nade in there? Because that has done a lot of damage across the board, and maybe enough to actually facilitate a round here. Ustilo comes on in. And now he leaves it on Jake in 1v2. It's the two players with the most HP and the rifles left. Shots on into the back, but Ye is able to trade. Comes down to a one-on-one in the end, but compLexity lock in an 8th round. The only issue is that is very, very expensive. So the rebuy comes on in for compLexity. 4 players having a buy up once again. And Renegades, they get their buy here into round 19. They don't have that much utility. They take a bit of a hit. Nifty has the AWP though. PTR's got one out for compLexity, but that's the thing. They kind of have to win this round. It's a reset for either team.
Reset for either team. A lot of stake right here. Going for the A control straight away, or banana control that is. Apologize to Jay all the way up here. And that's, you know, given to them fairly easy. They didn't really spend any utility getting that one. There was just a Molotov. And it seems like they don't have any plans of going in fast. They want PTR to try to peek with the AWP. He's not finding anything, and now a smoke comes down from the Renegades guys. And that's what you want to do from compLexity. You want to force out the utility as fast as you can from the CT guys. You know, the sooner they use the smokes, the sooner they use the flashes and the Molotovs, the sooner they can set up for a proper B or A hit in that sense. So that's what you want to do for everyone on Inferno. We see Nifty getting a sneaky peek right here on Android, and that's exactly what Renegades is hoping for. You know, now they got the first peek. All they really have to do now is just fall back and defend the bomb sites. It is Counter-Strike. It has to, the terrorists have to plant the bomb, basically. I guess we're all aware of that. But when you get the first pick, it makes it so much easier just to defend the bomb site and not focus, you know, on fighting for the map control. Nifty doesn't give a damn though. He's getting to the second frag as well. Now finally falling back. And if a 5 versus 4 is not easy on Inferno, then a 5 versus 3 is definitely making it even more easier to defend those bomb sites. All you have to do basically from now on, compLexity, Renegades, is defend the bomb sites, play safe, play off each other, get a crossfire setup where you get 1 or 2 trade frags, and in that sense, it should be impossible for compLexity to do anything about this outcome of the round.
Yeah, you feel like the only way they really stand any chance here is they head towards this B-bomb site is if they find both these entries flawless. And I mean, this B-bomb site is such a tricky one to take. When you are at a man disadvantage like this, they're going to start to make their way in, and Jacob's already opened up. That's going to really complicate matters now. They do manage to find him, but they don't account for JKS, leaving it all on PTR. Missed shot, and JKS doubles down. Renegades onto an 11th. They opt against the double AWP setup. They just want to keep the one up on Nifty.
Wise move, and here you see, as you said, the foreign round, the former round came in, and it was very expensive for compLexity, the antique round, which means they now have 0 money. They're going for the force buy, decision I don't necessarily like. They're still in the game, you know. 11 to 8 is not bad. Had it been 12 to 8, that would have been fine, and they could have bought up full next round. Now they opt to go for the Hail Mary almost at this point, where they force up completely and put everything at every X in one basket in a sense. Whereas if they lose this one, it's going to be 12-8. They're going to have another antique round. It's going to be 13-8, and that's a big deficit compared to only being behind 12-8, you know, and having a full buy and maybe turning around the pressure once again. Now, it is getting to a point where compLexity, they have to make something out of this. They have to win a round. They're not necessarily proud to win, and it will have to be this one. Going for a fast mid-control, going through the smokes as well. Nifty is not ready for it, still landing shots, getting another leg shot right there, and that's why Nifty is so good. He's so good mechanically with this AVP now. They got mid-control, their man down though, and a guy with a leg shot. It's going to be very tough for them to do anything about this Renegades hold now, and Nifty is hungry for the frags.
Yeah, and I always love this late peek in through the short angle. It catches so many teams off guard. Now they're going to start to make their way into CT. JKS is already positioned nicely for this. And PTR's the man with the rifle, but he's tagged very, very low. Then they go walking by. JKS able to locate and destroy Def. Now, Professor Chaos, he's the one to trade. He's kind of been the star in a lot of these rounds for compLexity. This one, he's now got himself a rifle to work with. Jacob's going to shut down one, but Professor Chaos in with a second. And he's not ready to give this round up just yet. You know, he's... well, I was going to say leading by example, but he's like analyzing by example.
Analyzing by example.
Now they get the bomb down, 2 on 3. Boosted up, spots the man over, and you know that nade going to do fantastic damage. That might tag the Android down very low. Professor Chaos falls. It's Android 1v3, gets the first. The trade's there from Azza, and the Renegade's going to move on to a 12th. And you said, I mean, they had to win that round there, going for that force.
Just put them in a very awkward position. As you can see now in the money as well, they could opt to go for another force buy. It wouldn't make any sense though, because you can't really pressure Renegades that much on the money. Whereas if you have to save in this one, you can buy a few pistols, maybe a few nades as they're doing right now. But the chances of winning this round is close to 0 compared to had they just saved, and bought up fully in this round. They would have every single utility, every single rifle, every single pistol if they wanted to, and could go for a fair and square fight. And that's, you can often read a lot into that. If you're behind and you're a team that believes in your own ability, you would opt to save in that round and go into this round with full utility. Whereas if you're a team that know you have pretty much everything to lose and nothing to lose and everything to win, then you opt for the like risky buys and the Hail Marys in that sense. And as you can see, it's not working out for them right here. It's as expected. The Renegades guys are just bullying them and getting another round in the board, and it's going to be a situation where compLexity are down 13-8, and that's it's a big deficit on a map like Inferno, especially the way the game is being played right now. Whereas we see Professor Chaos being one of the top fraggers for compLexity, not usually a great sign. It's sort of like when MSL is top fragging for North, you know it and you feel it. When that's happening, then there's something that is not working properly on the team, and that's sort of like relatable to this one as well. Professor Chaos is not supposed to have that many frags. He's supposed to be the guy setting up the other guys for the frags, but right now they're not able to deliver, so he has to come in with some frags and not even able to do anything with it anyway. So compLexity, just the team in shambles right now. JK is getting the first pick on PTR. Nifty looking for the second one right here. They don't really have to do anything now. 5 versus 4, it's easily winnable for Renegades. So again, use their utility, wait for the compLexity to approach them, and just wait, and that should be game pretty much over here. I'm not going to try to kill the fun in it, Harry, but it's just a realistic scenario, whereas compLexity really have nothing to come with at this point.
Well, you're a big fan of killing things, aren't you? I mean, whether it's people in the server, birds with breaking their necks, or just the fun, apparently.
I'm not fun at parties now.
Well,
I'm a party killer, apparently.
I was going to say I've seen you at a party. I haven't seen you at a party, Print. That's a lie. But I imagine the best guy there, Jacob. He's actually probably the second best. He's able to pick up 2. And Def there to trade. Going to lead you in a bit of an awkward spot. You still like, going to get caught off guard. Professor Chaos picks that up, and just like that A bomb site is open wide up. Professor Chaos going to keep going forward. Takes the fight now with Azza, and he wins that out as well. A second. As now compLexity look to try and secure a 9th round. It all falls onto Nifty, the brains, and now has to be the brawn. 1v2, AWP in hand, his weapon of choice. And it's the Englishman and the stand-in left to try and overcome.
So it's a 1-on-1.
I mean, you could be insulting either one of them there, Pimp. It's Nifty going in, and Def's going to find it. Just like that, compLexity are onto a 9th round. I think Professor Chaos has become my new favorite player.
I mean, he's causing some chaos right now, rightfully so. Credit where credit is due. Another round on the back of him, that killing you still, pushing down the middle, that was very vital for this round. Now, Renegades playing it very conservative. I like that. They actually did have money to go for some sort of force buy. They could have gotten 3 rifles and some CCs or SMGs, but they're trying to play it safe. They know they're up 13-9, and there's no need to risk anything. So they're just going for another round with some armor, some pistols, some nades, and just trying to do as much damage as absolutely possible going into this round. And you can see that, you can read into that. They know that this game and this win map is very important for them, so there's no need to gamble anything in that sense. They just want to play it safe. They want to make sure that they win the game in the end, and it doesn't really matter for them, whatever that's 16-14 or 16-9. So playing safe is always a great thing to see, and especially from some of the NA teams out here who's been bashed a lot by guys like me for not being conservative enough in the way they buy and conservative enough in the way they play, always taking a lot of, some would say, stupid chances. But this time around, it seems like Renegades are finally getting the hang of it, playing a safe, composed, structured Counter-Strike, and it's great to see that they can do that too and still perform. You still somehow managed to sneak out right here. Android is going to get a surprise in his face. Nope. He's able to get the first kill, almost getting the second one as well. That was the leap of opportunity Renegades had right there. Professor Chaos had no idea that he was around him, and neither does he have no idea that ACR was almost sneaking around his teammates as well, managing to pick up the round anyway, though. And it's one of those scenarios where now it's all about doing as much damage as possible for Renegades. They're going to lose this round no matter what, but if they can get a few kills down with them, that'll be great in order to keep the money situation under control. As you can see, compLexity don't have too much money in the bank right now, and you wanna keep it that way if you're Renegades.
Yeah, Nifty does get one. It's JKS who waits here. Def to find it, but Jacob. I was going to say maybe we'll get a bit more done, but then he's finished off. compLexity onto a 10th. And I mean, yeah, I do love this right now. The fact that it's so close. We do have a game on our hands. The buy comes in now for Renegades. Professor Chaos, of course, doing a good job of kind of rolling back the years to back in his playing days.
I have no idea why he just bought a Mac 10 though. He must have misread the money of some, like, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Unless he's just going to go on a suicide mission right now, it doesn't make any sense for him to have a Mac 10 in this round. PTR has $3,100. Yeaster have 2,000 as well. It should be fairly possible for them to drop an AK to him. So I don't know why he's opting to go for the Mac 10. It must be him reading the money miscorrectly, something like that. And that could be very vital for a round like this. It is highly important they win this one. They can't really afford to lose anymore. So let's see what he can do with this Mac 10. He has impressed us thus far.
Yeah, well, that's his first to fall that made. Once again, so much damage as now Jacob tries to mop at the remaining players. It's all onto PTR. 1 versus 3. Still a tag low, and he'll finish things off. So Renegades are straight back in with a 14th. And just like that, compLexity, the money has ran dry.
And this is at a point where you gotta you gotta force up here, and that's what they're doing. They're down 14-10. They can't really afford to go down to map and match point. So forcing up is the right decision here. It wasn't before, I would say, but this time around it is a great thing to do. They have 2 AKs, a Deagle, and 2 CCs, so there's something to work with, a decent amount of utility as well. They also go fast towards the B bombs, and that's what I like to see. A straight up rush here. Let's see what they can do about it. PTR charming in. JKS getting one through the smoke. Now Jacob up to himself to defend it. He got a FAMAS getting to do first kills. Back and forth. Now a 3 versus 2 scenario favoring Renegades for sure. Molotov is coming in from Nisty. He's just waiting for his mates now, and that's a great way to do it. PTR having an AK, Android with a FAMAS. Now PTR almost going down right here. Has a smoke to cover off this garden area, and that's a great smoke for them. Now the problem is there's still a lot of time on the bomb, and the Renegades are in no hurry whatsoever. They also know there's a guy on the tri-box. Now Android going down, last guy being Molotov out of position. That's PTR, 26 HP, getting the first frag, but going down to your still means map and match points coming into Renegades right here. Very close to taking this series 2-0, and almost, wouldn't say surely, but getting a step further in securing a spot for the playoffs.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, we're at that point now where all of these games start to matter. And yeah, for Renegades to be taking a 2-0 here, that is fantastic. So compLexity, this is kind of it. They have to try and find success now, or else this is all over. The scary thing is they need to try and win some consecutive. Now, the good thing is, is that Renegades, they don't have the best economy. Like, next round would be a very, very weird situation. And yeah, he's been able to open up. Professor Chaos is the one with the SMG in this round. He's got that over towards apartments, along with Def. Yeah, you kind of like to see it. I think... I don't know if this is 100% true. Might be wrong, but the last time we saw Professor Chaos playing was on, I want to say Splice, but there might have been a team after.
I think you're right about that. I think I saw him playing on Splice, having a 0-15 score on a Mirage game once. So
no, I just I've been that before. I think it's been like 2 years, but you know, he is rolling back the years right now.
He can be proud of the performance he's done so far, compLexity. He has not been the reason why they're not winning right now.
No, definitely not.
It's been the team composition in that sense now.
Maybe this will spur him back on to want to play again. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, for Renegades, man advantage up, and the bomb rotating up banana. Android leading the charge. Professor Chaos has been able to work his way into CT, and that's actually fairly massive. No one from Renegades has an idea of this. You imagine the guys inside that B bomb, so I have to be somewhat weary of the idea that someone could have slipped by. But he's kind of the thing that makes or breaks this offensive right now for compLexity. Starts to peek on in. There's Jacob holding down the angle. He's going to be able to find it. 15 seconds. PTR and Android have to find all the frags, and they will find none of them. And just like that, Renegades, they will take the 2-0. They do win out this series. And compLexity, well, try as they might, they look a bit wounded since the departure of FNS.
Definitely look like a wounded enemy. Look like one of those birds my dad once drove down. And you just got to break the neck of them as fast as possible. And that's what Renegades did right here.
Yeah, well, you know, you made that analogy a lot, Pimp, like a worrying amount. But I'm glad this time these 3 guys could witness it. You know, don't get on the wrong side of him.
And that is exactly what it's about. Violence of action. Soshra. We're not going into that. But anyway, 100% just not so much of a stomping this time around, but looking a little bit better on the complexity side.
Yeah, no, it shaped up to be a bit of a stomp. Obviously, we saw Renegades getting up to what, a 10-1 lead at a certain point, and then it kind of felt like they lit up for a bit of the steam. I'm not really sure if that's complacency kicking in on the side of Renegades. Obviously, again, better individual performances from complexity, but I think on an average day, this would be like a normal result.
No, but it's good to know for complexity that they can still put up that level of a fight on them. Like, you didn't want to get blown out two maps in a row, right?
Yeah.
We said they were going to be able to get past these losses due to the roster change relatively easily, all things considered, but you don't want to be that wrecked in one evening. You want to be able to show that it's not just one player who's put you up at such a level you can compete, and you lose him and you're out of it. So
yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
With no one behind the wheel, it's almost the seeming story here, because I mean, you lose FNS. He's brought this sort of like, hey, I'm going to lead the team this way. I'm going to be the in-game leader here, but now he's not there, and we're back to square one. What do you think Rambo says in this situation, giving all the, how would Pimp say this, perimeters?
Best of luck, guys. Give them hell. I don't think there's a whole lot you could say. I guess just prepare them for the eventual outcome of the game.
Well, I think Rambo, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy, and he's pretty big into like the fundamentals of Counter-Strike. So he probably, in between the maps, he was like, listen, don't think about the bigger picture of that opening map. Obviously, he just goes into it and says, just refocus on the small stuff, refocus on the trading, on the basics, using your flashbang for your teammate. Those kinds of things.
Fundamentals, one might even call them.
I did just call them that.
Oh yeah. Well, you're one. So just calling it how I see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Ultimately, at the end of this, though, the fact that Renegades were put to a little bit of a test here, what does that say about their stature?
It's fine. A win's a win. And they've done enough as well in other, like if we only ever saw them in online games, you wouldn't necessarily be worried, but you probably wouldn't be rating them too highly on this kind of a performance. But because we've seen them at all events recently, putting up fights, being competitive, even last year winning an event with NAF with that asterisk. But I think because we've seen them have success in some of these bigger events, we're fine with them just taking a win at this point on the online games.
I think they've kind of reached the level of they can get complacent online without you getting worried for them necessarily. Yeah. It's not the end-all be-all for them as it is for a lot of the other teams. So, yeah, they can take games off. It sounds bad to say because obviously you want teams to give it their all, but that's not going to be the case over the course of a year. So,
which brings me to my next question.
Oh,
which parent are you closer to, mom or dad?
Mom.
And why?
Well, the answer is really grim.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Carry on.
What the hell?
No, it's just like...
yeah, there it is. Okay, let's skip that one and move right along here. There's no punchline.
No, this is legit. It's just a straight up question.
There's actually questions right here. I don't know why this is loaded up, but it is, and I feel obligated in this moment.
I thought that was another dad joke.
No, we got dad jokes. Y'all want some dad jokes?
I got one for you.
What you got?
Okay, so I really like chemistry jokes, right? But I'm a little bit afraid of, saying them out loud because I'm not sure what kind of a reaction I would get.
It's good. They're so cheesy that they're good. That's all I'm going to say. Jason, hit me with your best joke that you've got overall.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Okay, how about the second best?
I have a really good joke, but it's a little bit of a build-up. It takes a hot minute.
We got time.
We've got time. It's true.
Do you know this one?
Maybe.
I feel like you might have heard. All right. So these two whales.
It's that good.
Just nailed it.
Right.
These two whales walk into a bar, right? And then they sit down at the bar. They're having some conversation. Hadn't seen each other in a while. And they're just catching up. Have a round of beers, and then a second round of beers come in, and then start ordering some shots, and they get some Jameson in them and all that good stuff. And one more round of beers at the end comes from the bartender, and the first whale turns to the second whale, and he goes. The second one turns to the first one and he goes, man, you're wasted.
And that is what it is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Whales across the world coming together to tell each other jokes. Can you just make the noise again?
It's not my best sonar communication, but
I mean, you probably have some breakthroughs. I
should probably practice that a little bit. But joke is phenomenal.
But it was good. I had a good laugh. How were rate the joke?
I enjoyed it. I thought the peak of the joke was actually during the Sonar Boy songs. I didn't know there was more to come.
Listen, I got some aces up the sleeve. Bust that one out at a party, Trace.
Everybody's rolling. They're all over the floor. Everywhere. But look, at Copenhagen Games, we were able to link up with a streamer. And how do I say this? From the Danish Cancer Society. It's a little bit of a touchy one. But ultimately, making dreams come true. That's what it's all about.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, go on.
Okay. Is it pimp?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
No, it's not pimp.
Oh.
It's not pimp. Actually, to be quite frank, and I don't want to butcher it, so I'm gonna resort to my card here. Fjellfar. Did I say
Fjellfar.
Fjellfar.
Got you onto the card.
Fjellfar.
Thank God.
I
Yeah,
found
the
it.
card, yeah.
Either way, we were able to make a fundraiser called the Cancer Knockout. So with that in mind, obviously a good cause. Everyone can rally behind that. I believe that's a really good one to get
all in.
behind.
Definitely so.
All in with that being said. Spreading awareness, and that is what it's all about. We're going to take a look at that real quick. When we come back, we're going to be jumping into our last matchup of the day. That was Jason's face. You can put it back, dude. It's all right. We're going to be jumping into Splice versus SK. SK already having 4 maps played tonight. Can they have the gas to bring out 2 more and pick up some wins there against seemingly someone they would within Splice, right? Anyway, we'll be right back.
I'm very excited. My heart is pounding. But that's nice. You know, that's the good kind of, you know? So that's nice. I'm nervous.